Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of the Collider Games podcast. My name is Dennis Tzeng. I'm here with Josh. You are in South Africa. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. As wonderful as I can be during this lockdown.
Yeah. And also back.
Yes.
Back with Collider Games. First time in the podcast in a long time. Dorian Parks. Dorian, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm back again. Happy to be back with the Collider Games team. I don't know if I'm going to be on every podcast, but I'll definitely be helping out a lot more with games. And we did a interview with Troy Baker recently, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, I'm excited to be back. Excited to be here talking with you guys again. It's been a minute since I've seen Josh. It's been since he moved to South Africa, so good seeing him virtually. So I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, and you'll be streaming a bunch of different games upcoming. I mean, Apex Legends you've been streaming.
Yeah, Apex. We got Apex Legends. Like that's going to be my main consistent game that'll be streaming like consistently during the days. And then like when we have upcoming releases, like we missed kind of the Last of Us release window, but upcoming you can expect to see some of me streaming some Ghost of Tsushima, and we'll also be doing a lot of coverage for that video as well as on the site. So that's going to be the next game on PS4 that I'll probably stream and do like break it up into parts and stuff like that coming up here soon.
Yeah, and we'll do a spoilers review of Last of Us Part 2, which we both still have not finished yet. So let's get into that. We're not going to do any spoilers here. We'll talk about the interview that we did with Troy Baker last week, which is now up on the YouTube channel. You guys can check that out. It was a good hour-long discussion where we covered a lot of different topics. But so far I'm about 6 or 7 hours into it. How far are you into it?
I'm about eight or 9 hours into it. About like I think I'm around the same spot as you, without spoiling anything for Josh. But that's about how far I'm in right now. Like I'm just 7 or 8 hours in, and personally for me, at first I was like a little bit hesitant about the story and mainly about this Abby character. But I don't know. I don't see as many like critiques as like I've been seeing online, and some people like complaining about certain things. They like so far like there might have been a little bit more walking than I was expecting to do with Ellie and Dina, but besides that, like I'm loving the game thus far. And like we said, we're only about 7 or 8 hours in, so I don't think we've really jumped into like the heart of the story yet. But thus far I really don't have any complaints. Like there's something early on that kind of threw me off, and I'm still like trying to get over. Yeah, I'm still like trying to think about how I feel about all of that, but besides that, like I'm enjoying it thus far. What about you?
Yeah, it feels much like because I've mentioned previous podcasts, I just finished The Last of Us Part 1 for the first time like a couple weeks ago. So for me, it was like a smooth transition right into this game. It feels just like it from a gameplay wise, from story wise, character wise, dialogue wise. It all just kind of fits. Obviously, much prettier graphics. When talking about the Last of Us remastered version, there's certain things. People were upset about this game before the game came out because of the leaks, and that was something I think Troy talked about a little bit in our interview as well. And he and I agree with him in this when he mentions like, how can you judge it until you actually play it, and whatever you heard leaks, and this happens a lot too, and we didn't get too much into this because we just had so much to go over, but this happens with big franchises like Star Wars and Game of Thrones and Marvel movies and DC movies. It's like sometimes leaks will happen, they'll hear about something and they've already decided, I hate this. Because remember Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, people like read some leaks and like they already decided they hate it. And look, I can't completely judge this game yet because I'm not done yet with it. I'm probably like less than a third of way through. So I'll hold my, full judgment. But it's like a lot of people haven't even played the game. They're like, oh, this game sucks because I heard this thing happened and whatever. And I don't know. So
and that's interesting that you brought it up. I didn't even think about it coming from your perspective of like you just finished like the first one. You didn't have to wait for that the couple years, like that year-long gap of like what's going to be the next story. Like you kind of just played through, and then like it was like you're basically playing through the whole movie, like the 2 chapters back to back. So that's interesting. I didn't even think about a lot of the fans that are coming to it that way that aren't like necessarily having to wait all these years. So I'm excited to see what other people are thinking outside of it, because I think before before we jumped on this podcast, like the news just broke that it's become one of the best-selling games. I think it sold over 4 million copies or something like that thus far. So although there's a lot of like turmoil and stuff on social media, there's a bigger world outside of it that people aren't even like paying attention to, like all the stuff online. They're just like, oh, The Last of Us is having another game, I'm gonna go get that, and they're not even paying attention to the review. So I'm excited to see what the general audience thinks once they finish it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is we pay attention, and of course, naturally, we're on the internet, we're on social media, on YouTube, and all that stuff, and you kind of get an over exaggerated sense of things. Like, remember, like all those people that said they were going to stop watching Game of Thrones, and like that never happened. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, I'm just going to stop watching. And then every week the episode ratings would go higher and higher. It's like, okay, it's just a very vocal minority of people, which you should listen and hear what they have to say. But at the same time, you have to, take it with a grain of salt. I mean, Josh, you haven't played the game yet. What have you heard about it? And like, what are your expectations?
First of all, I think coming from someone from the point of view that I haven't played the second one, I think I'm gonna have a good time with it when I finally get around to playing it. It definitely looks like a masterpiece of a game. They've put a lot of effort into it, a lot of time into it. One thing's for certain is I personally haven't played it yet, but it looks like it's a good game. It looks like it's a great game. All the issues, I mean, people are review bombing it. I don't know if you guys spoke about that last week, but people are review bombing it. It's like I think it's user review right now is like 44% or something, or 4.4 out of 10. God. But it's like, but from the critics, it's like a 9.5. Yeah. So it's like, clearly it's just being review bombed, and without any spoilers. Unfortunately, I had one of the biggest plot points in the game spoiled for me because I was doing research on why there's so much backlash, and it's because of it seems like people aren't happy with where the plot goes about halfway through the game. Like, they kind of pull they pull a fast one on you, and without giving any spoilers away, I think you end up playing as someone else, and a lot of people weren't happy with that, like, at all. And it's like who cares? They tried something different, you know what I mean? Like, everyone has this idea in their head of what this game should be, but at the end of the day, you aren't Naughty Dog, you aren't making the game. We are playing the game. We get to experience the experience that they want to give us. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so, I don't know. Yeah.
That's interesting that you just touched on that, Josh, because that's something that Troy brought up when him and Neil were like kind of talking about it the first time. Like, you pitched him to the script. It's not about like what the audience thinks. It's like, this is Neil's story. This is where they wanted to take it. Like, he's had this in the back of his mind for so many years. So it's not like like for Star Wars, for any franchise, like, it's not about what the audience wants in like a general type of way. It's like, if the story creator wants to tell a story like within his own franchise, he's allowed to do that without having to like adjust to what the fans think they want to hear, what they want. So it's an interesting time we're living in right now.
Yeah, and this is not to say, and I've said this before with like when I did the Game of Thrones podcast, this is not to say you can't not dislike it. You can dislike it all you want. Play the game though. You know what I mean? Like, stop reviewing. I guarantee you those review bombs are a bunch of people who probably played the first one, heard about maybe one of the leaks, and haven't played the second one, or maybe are only an hour or two into it, or whatever, like, if you don't like it and you've completed the entire game, okay, that's your opinion, but I guarantee a lot of those people haven't played the game at all.
Or if you don't like it, you stop after a certain thing happens, and then you don't like continue after that, then I guarantee you a lot of people did that.
Yeah.
There's a clip that went viral of PewDiePie playing the game, and then like I said, without giving spoilers, the moment that I was talking about, the moment happens, and he was live streaming on YouTube. He literally, like, he's on PlayStation. He goes to the main menu, and he hovers over the delete button for like 30 seconds, and he really contemplates deleting the game. And then he's like, "No, that's fine. I'm gonna go back into it." He keeps on playing the game, but then his chat's like, "Nope, this is the rest of the game from now on." And he was so upset. But it's one of those things where it's like, don't bandwagon it, you know what I mean? Like, just because some people didn't enjoy the story doesn't mean you're not going to enjoy the story. You might love the story. You might like the fact that it changes this perspective, you know what I mean? Don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah. So anyways, we'll talk more about Last of Us Part 2 once we finish it, which hopefully should be by next weekend.
Yeah, it should be my next, like, I should be done with it by Sunday at the latest, or like Monday morning at the latest.
It's probably gonna take me more through the weekend plus all the way till maybe I'll probably finish right before next week's podcast. But we should do a spoilers review on it. You guys also should check out that interview with Troy Baker. We talked about other stuff too. We talked about the Avengers game he did with the Crystal Dynamics one, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Talked about how much he wanted to play Daredevil in a game. There's no game, but he's campaigning.
Yeah, he's passionate about it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
We were originally
sick, actually.
And you should, Josh, I don't know if you watched it, but like his pitch for it, he was like he ended it. He was like, what could you do? What would you do if we can do something that the character can't? Like, that's why you play as these superheroes in these games. Like, they can do something that you can't. And when he was like, what can you do when it's flipped? I was like, damn, if Marvel could.
Have
really
you ever
pull
seen the Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck?
Oh yeah, of course, bro.
Scene where they explain how he sees it with the rain and like the sound? Dude, it would be so cool to play a game where that's how you see. The camera's like that with like you can just see through like sonar. That would be so sick.
If they were smart, like I instead of doing a PS4 game, I would love a Daredevil game in the VR, like in the vein of how they're about to do Iron Man. That would be pretty sick. Like the Iron Man, I think that drops next week. We should look into that. But I think the Iron Man VR drops in like July 4th or something. So I would definitely like a Daredevil game within that type of thing. But the crazy thing about that interview was we were supposed to like talk about the news we're talking about today in the podcast, but we just kept talking with him about his career and stuff like that. So it was a really good interview.
Yeah, so check it out here on the YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast, actually, I put up a podcast version of it, so you can listen to it on the podcast, or if you want to watch the whole video, it's on the Collider Games YouTube channel. So, all right, next big thing coming up, and we're going to cover. We had planned on doing the podcast with him, but we just got so interested in talking just to him about not only The Last of Us Part 2, but just his career and other stuff he was working on that we didn't get a handle on. We didn't get to cover some of the other stories, which we'll do today. So we got a lot to talk about. So another big thing, we had Cyberpunk 2077 had a broadcast with a new trailer. It's the Night Story trailer. Media, not us, but other media have gotten 4 hours of gameplay with it, which all have been pretty positive. You know, remember the game got delayed again. It was going to be September. Now it's November 19th. Did you guys check out the trailer? And what do you think, Josh?
Literally, actually watching it right now again. Yes. First of all, I'm excited for. I think the main reason like PC gamers are excited, or I guess next gen consoles as well, is because this is like the first big AAA game we're gonna get with ray tracing. You know what I mean? And looking at the trailer, I immediately think of the lighting. I just can't wait to play the game and see how good it looks in game as well. It's the whole reason I picked up an RTX, the same graphics card as you, the RTX GeForce, the 2060. It's the same reason I got that, just to be able to play this game when it comes out in the future. It looks crisp, man. It looks crisp. It really just looks good. The atmosphere, the lighting. It's just it's a good trailer because it got me like hyped up again for the visual aspect of it. Like previously we'd seen a lot of gameplay, and the gameplay got me excited to play the game, but this trailer got me excited for the atmosphere, to just like experience the game, you know, to be able to like sit there and take in this whole cyberpunk atmosphere.
It kind of reminded me of like this newest trailer in specific kind of reminded me like a futuristic like Grand Theft Auto type of thing. I don't know. That's the kind of vibe I was getting from it. But like I honestly can't tell you any of the detail, like really the story details from Cyberpunk, but I'm just so excited. And specifically with this trailer got me super hyped. And then I was reading the impressions from some of the people that actually got to play the first 4 hours. They were saying just like how they couldn't even, like within the first 4 hours, that they couldn't even explain to you what they did because it was just so much, like it's so layered. So they couldn't even give you like a proper explanation, which excites me even more. If you can't even tell me what something is about within the first 4 hours, then I think you got a real like mysterious story on your hands. So I can't wait. And the fact that they delayed it that long, I'm not really tripping about it, because anything that's getting delayed this year, I'm like, all right, fine. Like it's like there's no, I'm not in any rush. Yeah. I'd rather you take your time, don't try to rush or anything, and just like give it to us. Even next year, I wouldn't even be tripping if it got pushed back to early 2021. But yeah, I'm just excited for it overall.
Yeah,
it looks so good, man.
Yeah, you mentioned GTA. I got that vibe, especially from this trailer, because before, when I've seen stuff, previous trailers and descriptions, I actually thought more of this game, Deus Ex, which great game. I thought it was more that vibe. But then watching this trailer definitely had a Grand Theft Auto vibe to it, just set in the future and first person instead of third person. But also, I mean, the cars, that's in third person. I just felt like it had that vibe to it. They have different gangs and factions and all that stuff. So yeah, the people that have played are talking about how unique it is, how alive it feels. I mean, that's the point, and what's got me so excited. I love games that are sandbox games, like Red Dead Redemption, Fallout, where there's a community or it feels like you are actually in a world. And they're saying like this is that, but maximized. And so I'm excited to see what they have in store with all the different dialogue trees, all the different choices you can make, what your character can. I just hope it doesn't get too overwhelming where it's like just too many choices.
Mm-hmm. Well, in terms of story, it seems like from what I picked up on these articles, it's that, and I think we touched on this a while ago when it was first announced, that they're sticking to like the stories themselves are linear, but there's basically 3 main stories that you get to choose from. You get like 3 origin stories for your character, for V. I'm just going to read this one right here. You can either start the nomad life on the outskirts of Night City, be the street kid who slums it in the urban jungle, or begin as the connected corporate goon navigating the skyscrapers of sky-high risks of Arasaka's cutthroat company politics. So I like that you can pretty much... The reason why I like linear stories is because they're usually told a lot better. It's a lot easier to tell a linear story. So I think it's a good idea for them to go with like doing 3 different linear stories for how you want to play your character.
Yeah, so to me, I like linear stories, but I like some variants where there's different ways to get there and different choices you can make to affect it, And then, like a Red Dead, like I said, and Fallout, where it's like, yeah, there's one main storyline, but there's, different things you can do along the way, but you start the same place and you end in the same place, but how you get there can be a lot different, and that's what I'm hoping this game. It sounds like it's almost like they have three different storylines that you can play, versus just one.
And another thing that we left off the notes that they also announced was that they already have an anime in the works for it in 2022. So they're planning a lot of stuff around this. So we got a game in the works already, an anime, a movie. Next is going to be a movie with Keanu Reeves probably. So looks like they're already planning ahead for the franchise with this, and I'm excited about it because if you're putting that much faith into a franchise like this, and it's going to pay off. So I'm excited. I wish we could have got those 4 hours, but hopefully we'll get something down the line.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll keep our eyes on. I mean, when you're talking about what potentially will be game of the year, we're talking about Last of Us Part 2. We're talking about Cyberpunk 2077. Talking about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Maybe Ghost of Tsushima. We'll see. When we get our hands on that. So we're this year's big for gaming, and for not like it's a good thing, but during the pandemic, it at least kind of helps people.
And although it doesn't feel like a big year, I mean, because of everything going on, like you would think it's not a big deal. But like if you actually take a step back and look at all the games that are actually dropping without delays or anything, this is definitely a big year. And I think it's needed though. Like everybody's at home, like you said, like we need a distraction. We need something to like entertain us while we're going through this. So games are the best escape.
Yeah.
So there are some issues with the 4-hour gameplay that people played. Well, some people picked up on a couple small things, but they've got the extra time now to polish it. Some people said the inventory management was a bit clunky. The gear and upgrade screens weren't as intuitive as you would think, so they don't explain much. And some people said that the driving didn't feel very natural. But they have these extra 4 months now to essentially polish those things out, especially now with these reviews coming out. They can see, okay, hey, we need to work on the driving to make the driving feel a bit more realistic or more natural,
And then I believe this game is also where you purchase it and then you can download the next gen version. Like if you purchase on PS4, Xbox One, then you'll be able to get it for free on PS5 and Xbox Series X. So you don't have to worry about, having the game and not, if you plan on getting the system later than when the game comes out, you don't have that fear. All right, let's move on to the next one, which also has that same capability as well, but I think they never announced it until recently. Marvel's Avengers. They had a new trailer come out, and they also, said that if you purchase it, on a current generation, you will be able to play it on the next one. With the story trailer, they kind of showed MODOK as the big villain. They showed a lot of Kamala Khan and like how it seems, from the trailer before, the first one they showed, she wasn't in it at all.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how big of a, character she was until we saw this one. What do you think, Dorian?
Yeah, I was completely blown away by this trailer because, like you, I just knew that she was going to be in the game. I didn't know if she was just going to be like a face or cameo, maybe get to play with her a little bit, like in the same vein as you getting to play with Miles in the Spider-Man games or something like that. But to see her actually get important storyline in this, like from the, I don't know when we get to when we're introduced to her, but to see her by the end fighting with the Avengers, like in her suit and shit, I was like, okay, let's go, Kamala. And it's interesting because I didn't think that they were really going to explore the Inhuman, her backstory and all the Inhuman genes and stuff like that, because that was a big storyline in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So for them to like be diving into that early on, I'm excited about that, to see them like flesh it out and really get to show off the Inhumans to people that might have not watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., because it's basically Marvel's X-Men until now that they have the rights back. So I'm excited to see them explore that a lot more, because it's an interesting storyline, and the way they're using Kamala as the introduction and the gateway to it, it makes perfect sense in my opinion.
Josh?
Man, I actually watched once I saw that the new trailer came out. I just watched all the videos that I had missed so far on this since the E3 announcement. Mm-hmm. I watched like a good 20 minutes of Thor gameplay, and that it just looked fun. Mm-hmm. Like it's like the number one word I keep coming back to is it looks fun. There are some videos where obviously it looks amazing graphics wise, and there are some videos where it doesn't look so amazing. Mm-hmm. But even if it doesn't look as amazing as what the cutscenes look like, it looks fun. That's the biggest thing I can take from it. It's very fun. The trailer that I watched, it shows the one thing that I was most excited about, which is you're going to have, everyone has a lot of costumes. Everyone, like all the Avengers, everyone involved, you're going to be able to pick all these different types of costumes that they have and suits and stuff. They showed a bit of like the skill, I wouldn't say the skill tree, but like maybe the customization. They show how you can like upgrade Tony Stark's suit with like different parts of his suit and install different pieces. So I wonder how that would relate to the other Avengers and some of the other characters, because obviously it's easy to look at a suit like like the Iron Man suit and think, how do I upgrade this? But how do you, I'm sure I guess that's like the skill tree. Like I'm sure other people will have a skill tree, and some people have like, you can upgrade the weapons, or you can, if you're Thor, you upgrade his powers, you know what I mean? Everyone, the costumes look sick. Miss Marvel, I don't know much about her, but it looks like a lot of fun.
Troy said, sorry, Josh, Troy said that she's the funnest character to play with out of all of them. So that gets me hyped, because if you're not familiar with her abilities, like she can turn herself big, and she can also super stretch, like embolden. So like basically, you can use her arms to swing across buildings and shit like that. So I'm excited about that. Troy said she was the funnest character. So I'm definitely looking forward to playing with her. I'm looking forward to playing with all of them, but her specifically.
I saw some co-op footage as well, which looked like a lot of fun. It was Iron Man and Thor. So the fact that there is co-op as well is just a huge. I mean, look, if you're gonna make it an Avengers game, I think you're missing out if you're not making it co-op. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole point of being a group of like superheroes.
Yeah, but I believe the co-op is not with the campaign.
It's not with the campaign.
It has like separate missions that are for co-op, and then you play the campaign solo, because you need to, like, for storyline purposes, you need to like swap off on who your characters are, and that'd be something that I'm interested, because that may be something that's a detriment as well, because with so many characters, you have to kind of jump between all of them. Are you going to get fully invested into one? And also, like you said, you guys are talking about with the skill trees, upgrading one, and then you got to hop to another, and you got to upgrade theirs. That's another concern. For me personally, Josh, like the cinematics are actually where I feel like it's not so much the graphics. I think it's the character modeling that isn't the strongest, and that's the thing that got critiqued the most last year. And they've definitely improved it since then, but it's still not. It's not Last of Us, right? It's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's still some issues with it, but that's not really the game. You know, the game is a third person from behind the back. Like, it's just those cutscenes are like when they're trying to, you know, tell a little bit of the story. So I don't think that's gonna bother me that much. It's more about how does the game play? Is it fun? And it does look fun.
My only gripe, really, because like I said, honestly, this game could have like 2007 graphics and I'd still play it because it looks like a lot of fun. But my biggest gripe is probably the voice acting. I'm not a fan of the voice actors that they chose. For some of the voice acting is really good, but it's like some people just don't match their character models. You know, like, and I'm sure that the people who are doing the voices probably did good in their respective animated shows or movies or whatever that they did before the time as the characters. But like, I don't know, some of the voices just, for me, it doesn't match up. You know what I mean? I think they could have cast the voice actors a bit better, but that's just that's a personal thing. You know, it's a small. I don't think anyone else is going to notice that. But I do a lot of voice acting, so that's just me as a voice actor thinking. You know,
I think for me, I actually have gotten more used to it because I know everyone, you know, was complaining one about the visuals and with the voice acting when the first trailer came out. And I think a lot had to do with expectations, right? Because everyone is so used to Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man and Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. And so we're so used to those voices, Chris Hemsworth as Thor. So we're getting a different version, different take on it. I think it takes, I bet you when you start playing the game, you'll start getting used to those voices as those characters, and I think you'll be able to get over it. So that's just my take on it.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat with you, and it's like at first I was not necessarily thrown off. It just took me a little bit to get used to. But now that we've seen all these trailers and gotten a feel for what the game is and just seeing it over a bunch, I'm like, all right, it just feels normal to me that these voice actors are these voices. But I can understand what you're saying, Josh, as well.
Yeah. It's just like some of the people sound like, it's not that, I know I'll get used to their voices initially, but some people just, when I say they don't sound like they fit the character, I mean like some people sound like they should be a bigger body or a smaller body, depending on like the baritone of your voice or the tone of your voice. They're all good voice actors, but like some of the voice actors seem like they should be playing either like large, bigger people with bigger chests and bigger like lungs, or much smaller. I don't know. But then again, like I said, that's only as a voice actor, that's something I picked up on. Those are like the small differences.
Yeah. So, all right, and that comes out on September 4th. That was delayed too. It's supposed to come out in May this year. And like I said, for me, that's all good because there's so many good games that I still need to play. I was just happy that I was able to finally finish Last of Us Part 1, and now I can power through Part 2, and then we'll get to a bunch of other cool games. All right. Next thing, this one is not a game per se, but it's a pretty big story, is Microsoft shut down Mixer and has now partnered with Facebook Gaming.
Talk about easy money, man. Talk about easy money for Ninja. That is the easiest $30 million he's ever made in his life.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like they technically haven't shut down yet. It's going to shut down on July 22nd. But I mean, I assume once people said, you know, they're done, that people are not doing it. Apparently, the reason was like their growth was not what they wanted it to be. It was very slow growth, even after getting Ninja and Shroud. So they're going to be free to return to Twitch or go to Facebook Gaming. So, I guess the one thing, like, I'm not sure how, is it just Microsoft saying, okay, cool, go to Facebook Gaming, or is there any type of transition, like where they'll take like people's accounts and actually move them over to Facebook Gaming? That's, I think, where I'm wondering how this works and what did, because look, Microsoft is not going to be like doing this for free for Facebook, so they must have gotten some sort of deal out. I just don't know what it is.
So I don't think there's any account transfer involved. I know that because there's currently a lot of Mixer streamers are suffering right now because there's no transfer. Like, they've lost everything. Like, when it goes off, everything's gone for them. Their account, their clips, everything. And for some people that sucks because they moved to Mixer because they either got banned off of Twitch or they have like bad experiences with Twitch. So I know that there's a couple of gamers who write, like, there was this one girl who was literally, she went viral. She posted a video online where she was bawling her eyes out, literally like begging, like crying and begging Twitch to unban her so that she has a place to go back to when Mixer finishes. In terms of Ninja and Shroud, I think Shroud will go back to Twitch. I think Ninja is going to go to YouTube Gaming because of the history between Twitch and Ninja. Because once Ninja left Twitch, Twitch was still using his account to advertise stuff, and one of the things they advertised was basically porn. So it's like I don't think he's going to go back to Twitch. It's like not good history there. He'll probably move to YouTube Gaming, I think.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know, it didn't have like a super factor into it, but there were some statements about how Mixer treated their black employees back then, and that kind of got out. And I think that was why it was such an abrupt like announcement that they were going to Facebook Gaming, because firstly the announcement went out, it went super viral, and just like you see all these employees about how they've been treated on the back end behind Mixer. So I can understand why they decided to like just abruptly shift and try to get the focus off of them and just make sure like let's try to salvage whatever relationship they have with these streamers left. But at the same time, I think it just, for the streamers, particularly like you said, the Mixer streamers that had no idea this was happening, some of these people, this is their livelihood, and now they're like wondering like, what are we going to do next? Like, I don't know, Facebook and Mixer should try to come up with a way to make sure that these verify, especially if you have hundreds of thousands of followers on Mixer, which I think is hard to do in the first place, because it obviously if they weren't already growing, then if you have that big of an influence to get that many people onto Mixer, you shouldn't be let just fucked over and not get like some of your stuff back on Facebook Gaming. So I think whatever algorithm they're setting up for Facebook Gaming moving forward, they should prioritize the streamers that were definitely affected by this closure of Mixer.
For sure.
I don't know. I don't know what to say about this. I'm upset about it just because of the employees that got mistreated, and then on top of that, just everybody that is losing their livelihood. So hopefully everything works out in the end, and these streamers can get back to gaming how they were used
It almost seems like they pulled a fast one on us, because like you said, if their goal was to distract us from that news coming out about how they treated their black workers, if their point of doing this was to distract us from that, then it worked, because I didn't even know. You know what I mean?
I mean, I just saying I think it's a coincidence. Like one day, like within the 2 days that the statement was released by the black employers, and then 2 days later, then you have this announcement. I think it was just like a PR move to try to get I think it was already in motion that Mixer was going to Facebook, but I think they
probably pushed it sooner because of that.
Expedited it because of it. So, but that's just speculation. That's just what I'm thinking, not anything official. But that's just how I feel about the situation.
I mean, while we're on the topic as well, Dennis, I don't know if you saw this, but Twitch is getting sued by one person. He's a sex addict. He's suing Twitch for $3 million, I believe.
For what?
For some of
the all the suggestive streamers.
Oh god!
All the suggestive streamers are forcing him to spend all his money on them because he has a sex addiction.
Oh god!
You know, I'd like to just say don't use the app, but that's like telling a heroin junkie don't use the heroin. So I'm not too sure, but I don't like the fact that they're going to court.
Providing or for doing that.
Like, I don't even know how he got this. I don't know how he got this far with the court case. How did he even get this far? It's crazy.
Yeah, throw that thing out in a second. It seems like this kind of came out of nowhere, because they're saying the Mixer employees weren't notified of the shutdown, and then obviously all the streamers were unaware, and a lot of them aren't sure if they want to go to Facebook because of the issues with privacy. Yeah, and they still haven't. I guess they're still working on a way to transfer them over, but they don't really have a solid plan yet. I guess the original founders had left at the end of last year as well. So it kind of the writing was on the wall as something that was going to happen. And then along with that, this is kind of a side note, but it just came out today. Microsoft is closing down their retail stores except for 4 of them, which is unfortunate for me, because I actually like going to the Microsoft store, because I have a Surface Book. I like the Surface products. I have an Xbox. They have Xbox stuff there. And I always thought, the way that Apple handled it as well is those stores really aren't like, they obviously do sell stuff, but the point of them isn't to be a profitable thing. Right. They're supposed to be a branding thing. They're supposed to be like, people can go in there, get their hands on with the item, and then they can purchase these items, whether through the store or through a third party or whatever. It's I thought that's what it was more about. And so, that's another thing. I guess Microsoft is trying to cut off some entities that are not very profitable for them.
I mean, it makes sense. I'm not going to a Microsoft store anytime soon, just because of this quarantine. I haven't been to an Apple store or anything like that. Like I like you said, more like for the Apple store specifically, like I would only go there if I needed to for a Genius appointment or something like that. And so if we can get those online virtually, like I can see a lot of those businesses hurting right now. But that's crazy that they're only keeping 4 alive, because outside of it, I thought aesthetically, like when I drive past it, like I'm like, it looks like it's a nice ass store. It's visually like it looks nice.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they had retail stores. I'll be completely honest.
They had.
I live in a third world country, man. We don't
have in LA.
Yeah, there's one. Isn't there one like by the ArcLight?
ArcLight Hollywood. There's one at the mall in West LA, the Culver City Mall, the Century City Mall. They had one there that was big and nice. They had one at the Glendale Galleria, but it was more a kiosk. But they shut that
one before.
Yeah, I mean, they model themselves after the Apple Store. They model themselves after the Apple Store, you know. So I don't know. They're just changing off their focus. That's weird. It says no layoffs result from today's decision. How is that possible?
Yeah,
people,
that can't be right.
People work at the store. How are they not laying off people?
Are they all getting moved to call centers?
Yeah.
I highly doubt it. It might be just kind of a fudging of numbers where maybe these people were already furloughed or laid off because of the pandemic, and then therefore them closing it now means like, oh, they already were let go for the pandemic. So yeah. All right. Next thing up, last week, a bunch of EA announcements. The biggest one was the Star Wars Squadrons announcement. They had a trailer, gameplay reveal. They also said it's going to be in VR. You know, this is supposed to be a spiritual sequel to Star Wars Rogue Squadrons game that I think was on like SNES or something. It was a while ago. But
I know I think it was also on PS1.
Yeah, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's a single and multiplayer game, 5-on-5 combat. You can play as the New Republic or the Empire. They have different ships like the X-Wing, Y-Wing, A-Wing. On the Empire side, you have TIE Fighter, bombers. You can customize stuff. There's no microtransactions, which is, you know, the thing that EA has been, you know, kind of been attacked for with Battlefront and Battlefront 2. But they got some goodwill back with whatchamacallit? Fallen Jedi. Jedi Fallen Order, sorry.
Jedi Fallen Order, yeah.
The game's only $39.99. So I don't know. It seems like they're doing everything right with this game. It looks cool. I'm not the biggest
dogfighter fan.
Well, no, it's just any like car driving or flying games. Yeah. I like them. I like them when they're part of a game, right? Like if you're playing like Battlefront 2 I played. There's a part where you do go in space and you do space battles, but I'm not one of those people that likes to do it for like an extended period of time. I like it as a diversion, so I'll definitely check it out, especially the VR stuff. Yeah, that makes me much more interested. What did you guys think about this?
I'm kind of in the same boat as you,
go ahead, Dorian.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as like if it's like a driving game or something like that, I'd rather it be part of an overall game rather than that just be the sole focus, because I get bored easily. So when I saw the trailer for this, I was like, this looks cool. Like definitely, like I would play it, but I don't think I would necessarily buy it. But now that I've been jumping a lot more into VR, and since that it is a VR option, I would be down to, I don't know if the price would be a little bit lower, if it was like $29.99 on the VR instead or something like that, then I'd definitely be more willing to give it a try and buy it and play it like that. But if we're just talking about consoles, and I wouldn't necessarily see myself probably buying this to play it, because I'm not that big of a fan where like when you're driving stuff or anything along those lines.
Josh?
Yeah, I think it's personal taste at this point. There's a lot of hype around it, which is good. I think there's a market for it. People are going to play it. People are going to enjoy it. It looks like fun. But for me, dogfighting games are like any kind of game that involves aerial combat, where the entire point of the game is just aerial combat. You need to be in the mood for it. Like you need to and it's like a very specific mood. Like to play League of Legends or to play Dota, I have to be in the mood for a MOBA. You know what I mean? I used to play a lot of Ace Combat, but these kinds of games, for me personally, the only time they're fun is if you have a joystick. but like a proper like an actual proper piloting joystick. I can see the appeal in VR. I've played a lot of VR games where you're a pilot, and it's great because you can look around, obviously the cockpit and stuff while you're flying around. So it makes sense in VR. But for me, you kind of lose a bit of that realism in VR because you're using the VR controllers, and yes, you get to move around, but having a joystick that's actually firmly attached to something that can't move around, it feels a lot more realistic. Like you're actually sitting in something and moving around the controller. So I think the game's.
Sorry, Josh. What if they did a accessory that had like that component, like a joystick for the VR?
I hope they do.
Okay,
I hope
that'd be cool.
I would do that. I would actually be a lot more interested in the VR version of this game if I was able to use the Logitech joystick. I think it's the G15 or G14. It's been around for like 20 years. They haven't made a new one. It just does the job. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. But if I was able to use that in like a solid position, because here's the thing with VR, like if I'm holding onto the joystick, I can move it here and still pilot. You know what I mean? I can move it here and still pilot. I want it to be locked in a position where I can't move it from, so it feels more real for me. But I think the game's going to do well. It's a good price point. That's the biggest selling point for it, is its price, I think. Yeah, is it going to be like a phenomenal game that sells millions and millions? No. No, but I do think it'll get a cult following for sure. While we're on this topic, it seems like they're bringing back pod racing as well. I saw a trailer for that recently. They're bringing back Star Wars pod racing, and that's going to be sick.
Yeah. I understand what you're talking about with the controller. But I figure it probably much harder to do on the Oculus Quest, because that's kind of supposed to be the whole point, is to be able to like freeform. But if you get like say on the PC and connected PC VR headset, you just sit down like normal, put the thing down, but then you have the VR experience through
I would do that.
Glasses.
That sounds cool.
Now my question though is like, I actually get nauseous when it comes to locomotion type games where you move, you're actually moving instead of teleporting. Like I played all Half-Life Alyx with teleport. So I'm wondering, like, is that gonna get me sick? This is a game that I wouldn't get
100%. You 100% you will get sick.
Yeah, I would have to play a demo of it first and see how it goes. But it looks cool, you know what I mean? It looks cool and looks fun. I don't know if I'll be able to withstand that nausea factor. On a side note, Star Wars Celebration was officially canceled. It was supposed to happen in Anaheim this year, which sucks because it's close to us and we could have gone. Yeah. I mean, I've only been to one before. That was in Orlando. I missed last year's. At Anaheim in the convention center, end of August, but obviously we're not that time. We have Comic-Con it was canceled, but now it's an online thing, which is happening, I think, sometime in July. We have E3 was canceled. The Oscars are postponed. Just tons of in-person events that aren't happening anymore.
A lot of that going around.
Yeah.
Going back real quick before we move on, the nausea thing. I used to play a lot of Ace Combat, and I would get nauseous playing that not in VR. You know what I mean? Just normally. Like there's a lot of like swinging around. You can get nauseous super easy playing those kinds of any kind of like dogfighting game. But once you're used to it, it's fun.
Yeah. Also last week, EA Play, they had the EA Play live event. I mean, I'm so used to going to it during E3. It's literally down. They hold it like down the street,
like right by your house.
Yeah. It's so nice to just like walk over there.
I think last time it was in Hollywood. It was like just up the road for me last time, which is quite cool. Yeah.
So they announced a bunch of different things. New Dragon Age we know is coming out. They showed like a teaser, a little thing of it. DICE is working on a new Battlefield game. They're both, going to come out on the next generation console. They showed FIFA, Madden, Skate is coming.
They also showed like a new IP. They didn't say much about it, but right at the end, they showed us a new IP, which looks really fun.
Yeah. And then Apex Legends Season 5, Fortune's Favor. That just came out
Tuesday? Yeah, it came out on Tuesday. Yeah. I've been streaming that. I've been playing that. That's my shit. I'm on Josh, I'm actually playing on PC now. Like I'm playing Apex on PC. Yeah, I know, bro.
I'm playing Apex on PC now.
But I'm using a controller though. I'm gonna get I know I'm gonna get crapped on. I know people have been already crapping on me, but I'm using a controller while I'm playing on PC until I get adjusted. But yeah, I've been playing on PC, and because like I'm starting from the beginning, I didn't bring over my account. They keep ranking me with like beginners and shit, so it makes me look really good. So I'm just murking. Just destroying. It's not even funny. Like I look really good right now, but I know I'm playing against beginners. But yeah, I've been playing on the PC, loving it thus far. So if you're playing on Apex on PC,
crossplay.
let's make
crossplay.
Yeah,
this fall crossplay.
Yeah, it's going to be crossplay soon. I was actually going to mention that earlier. I said once it's crossplay, we can finally play together. But if you're on PC,
I'm on PC, that's my shit.
Yeah,
well, I mean, then we should
once
definitely play
it's crossplay, all three of us can go on, and then we can stream it.
I'm down. Yeah, we'll talk about this after. We'll talk about the podcast. I mean,
but how? So what's new in Fortune's favor?
There's like been quite a few additions, but the drastic ones thus far is that crypto. They changed one of the towers to a crypto tower now. So if you land there, you can kind of scan the area. You can see the opponents around you. It's basically like a big ass satellite. And so now that's where everybody goes. That's like one of the hot spots. And then the other thing is like Mirage. Like usually the members each get their own like type of weapon that doesn't really do more. Like it doesn't add more damages for cosmetics. So now Mirage, like if you unlock all the event, like all the packages, you can unlock a Mirage heirloom that he can use to like melee people with. So that's what I'm trying to work towards. But again, I just got it on the PC, and I don't want to buy another battle pass and do all that crap again because I've already done it on the Xbox. And then because we were trying to set up on the PS4, I had to buy Mirage's character again because I couldn't bring over my account. So I'm just like I'm hesitant on trying to spend any more money on Apex because I'm just balling out. But yeah, those are the two biggest.
Merge all that stuff though.
Yeah, I know.
They have one account for all the different ones.
I have 3 different Apex accounts now, and then the other major changes is what's his name? I'm forgetting his name. The fast guy. Why am I blanking?
Octane.
Octane, yes, Octane. He got a buff, so now when you throw out his special ability, you can double jump, which actually is cool. Like Octane really doesn't add anything to the team dynamic, but when you like throw out and actually double jump to get new places, it actually works. So he's kind of more asset than he was before. And then the other major buff was Lifeline. When she revives somebody, she doesn't have to like stand there with them. She just drops her drone, and then she can like still move around. Yeah, it's that's one of the biggest updates for her is like she can just drop her drone and then just walk away and then revive somebody else at the same time. So those are the biggest ones. I'm probably missing a couple, but those are like the biggest ones that are affecting the game right now.
All right, cool. So
before I move on, I'm just want to say that I'm personally incredibly excited for them doing another Skate game because as happy as I am that they announced the remake for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, I was very happy about that. Skate is one of my favorite games of all time. I prefer the stories and like the stories and all the cool missions you do in the Tony Hawk's games. But in terms of actual gameplay, the Skate series was phenomenal. We don't know if it's going to be Skate 4, maybe it's going to be a Skate 3 remake. If it's a remake or a sequel, I'm down for either. And they've got the original team working on it, so I'm very, very happy about that. And this has been in rumor. This has been like in rumors for about a year now. So for them to come out and actually say that they're making something, very happy to have like solid, concrete information that they're doing this.
Yeah, nice. All right, moving on. This one was kind of like more of a rumor about Rocksteady. People have been talking about maybe they're making a new, there's rumors about them making a new Superman game, new Batman game.
I saw Caboose talking about this.
Yeah, and so now a report says that they're maybe doing a Suicide Squad game based on domain name registrations that they had. And apparently
Suicide Squad killed the Justice League.
Yeah. So which would be interesting because, they've been talking about WB Montreal's Batman Court of Owls game. And then so it's interesting that maybe they're going to have both these games come out as well. So what do you guys think of a Suicide Squad game? I mean, maybe because I wasn't that familiar with the Suicide Squad when they decided to make the movie and now they're deciding to make the game. It just, to me, it just doesn't seem like that popular of a property. The characters, like, having Joker and Harley Quinn and, are much more popular than the Suicide Squad itself. But I guess maybe with the James Gunn version of the movie coming out sometime, maybe has something to do with it.
I think that's my thing is like they're trying to bank on the movie hype of the upcoming Suicide Squad because there's no release date or anything rumored around that. So what I'm thinking is they'll announce this first Batman game or announce both of these games at the DC Fandom event and then reveal that the Batman game will kind of sync up in line with Robert Pattinson's Batman around that time, around that area. And then because Suicide Squad is not coming out till 2022, I believe, if I'm correct, I believe. But I think they'll time it around that just to ride the wave of Suicide Squad, James Gunn Suicide Squad, and then just hype it up that way. Because I think by the time that time comes around, if you use Harley Quinn as one of the main marketing tools, Harley Quinn, Deadshot, and a couple of others from the game, if they're going to be in the game, then I think you'll have a successful game regardless. Especially if you have Justice League in the title. Some people might not be familiar with the Suicide Squad, but if you throw in Justice League and emphasize that part, I think more people will be familiar and want to flock to it.
Yeah. And also remember, this is coming on the heels of the WB Games.
The real question is this actually going to happen?
Remember, WB Games itself is being shopped around. I know Caboose had a take on it where he thinks that Microsoft should buy WB Games.
Mm-hmm.
And when anytime a company changes hands, there's always like projects that get canceled and different directions things go in. So I don't know, keep an eye on
yeah, I do think it's going to happen just because I believe I could see if I'm WB right now on the games department and you see Marvel dropping all of these like games, whether it be Spider-Man, Miles Morales, or the Avengers game or anything like that, and you see them continually building up their thing, and the last thing that you have that to memory in terms of like iconic superhero games is the Arkham Knight franchise. Like you really want to like drop something that can compete with the Marvel games, and so like I'm betting that if we don't get it like the Suicide Squad game, I at least bet we'll get a reveal event at the DC Fandom thing about an upcoming game that they've already been working on, just so they can like kind of start putting the groundwork back to competing game wise.
Yeah. I think that we'll definitely get the Batman game for sure, because it's a very popular existing franchise that they know they're going to make money with it. They know they haven't disappointed us yet. I mean, some people were a bit disappointed with the third installment, Arkham Origins. I like the story. Some people weren't too happy with the gameplay. But overall, it's a great IP. It's a great series. I think they'll definitely be doing Batman Court of Owls, if that is what they're going to be doing, or Gotham Knights, or however they're going to go about it. So I think that's more likely to happen than the Suicide Squad thing, because like we said earlier as well, NetherRealm and Rocksteady, they're up for sale right now. So it really depends if they get sold, then it depends with what the people who own them want to do with them. They're going to obviously keep the Arkham Knight IP around because that's profitable. They know that for a fact. The Suicide Squad thing, who knows? Maybe that gets dropped. I don't know. I will say this: if the Suicide Squad game comes out, I'm speculating that it's going to be some sort of multiplayer game. Because if it's the Suicide Squad against the Justice League, that's like one group against another group. It could be some kind of like multiplayer game that they're working on. That's just
it could be their way to. I mean, that's a good speculation though. It could be their way to, because they know Marvel. Like example, they have the multiplayer Avengers game co-op, or like regardless if it's with the storyline or whatever. That the Suicide Squad doing something completely opposite with villains like that. Like they've already been kind of just doing the opposite of what Marvel does to try to find their own niche. So if they do something like that, it's in the same vein, but it's very different, where it's not like you're mimicking or copying them. So that's a good speculation, and I hope they do that now.
All right, let's move on to VR talk. Let's talk about all the stuff going on. VR stuff. We had the Upload VR showcase was last week, where they showed off a lot of new games that are coming out. Obviously, one of the things, Trover Saves the Universe, which I've played and finished on the PSVR, is now coming to Oculus Quest. It's already out now. I think it's $29.99.
You know what, Dennis? While you're talking about that, I just want everybody who's listening or watching to know, you have the option to play Trover Save the Universe, not in VR. You have the option to play it as a normal game, and it sucks as a normal game because
it does.
Well, the thing is, like, there are certain puzzles that you can't do because you can't see because you need to be in VR so you can have the depth perception. You don't know how far to jump or how far away something is. It's like it's so much more difficult to play. In VR, it's literally the game was clearly meant for VR, no matter how you look at it. But if anybody's thinking, hey, it looks like a fun game, it is a fun game. It's funny. It's super funny. If you want to play it just because it's funny, I actually don't recommend it. Like borrow a VR headset from someone because playing it in non VR was the most frustrating thing I've ever done in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad they put it on the Quest too.
Yeah. I mean, it's
hell yeah.
Much more. It's more of a casual. It's not a hardcore gamer. It's a casual gamer game, and it's funny.
It's a good platform.
Yeah, I'm a huge Rick and Morty fan, so Trover Saves the Universe from Justin Roiland, and I think it's a perfect fit for Oculus Quest. I do wish they ported over the Reality. Rick and Morty.
Virtual Reality. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Real quick, what do you think they'll do? Because you've played Trover Saves the Universe. Now your controller is a PlayStation controller. Like even in the game, you're looking at a PlayStation controller. What do you think they're going to do for the Oculus Quest?
I mean, they'll just. No, they 100% are going to change to Oculus controller because having dealt with Oculus before, dealing with them to get the Twin Peaks VR experience up on Oculus, they're very anal about that stuff. So there's 100% there will not be a PS Move controller in there. It will be an Oculus controller.
Because like I said, it was just a controller. It wasn't the Move controller. It was just the actual PS4 controller. When I played it,
Don't make them switch it.
Thank goodness. I mean, well, first of all,
either be an Oculus controller or it'll be a generic looking controller that doesn't look like the PS.
I was gonna say, for copyright issues, they got to change it anyways. You're right. But great game. I highly recommend it. It's super funny.
Since we're talking about the upload and VR in general, like one of the things I noticed, I'm not going to go to specific titles on the VR showcase because I don't want to call out games, but a couple of them just reminded me of like a less powered down version of the PSVR game Blood and Truth. And so when we were already talking about porting games over, if I was Blood and Truth, I would do my best. I don't know if they have a contract with Sony or whatever, but I would do whatever the Trover team had to do to get it ported over to the Quest and get Blood and Truth over to the Quest and just all of VR instead of just having it specifically for the PSVR, because I was thoroughly impressed with that game. And the reason why I didn't get to finish it just because of how big of a hassle it is to go back and try to set up the PSVR headset in itself. So if you could take the ease from not having to do all of that work with the setup and put it over on the Quest, you have another fantastic VR game. I don't know if it's like if it's extremely powerful or something, then maybe that's why it looks like powered down for the other games. But if I was a Blood and Truth team, I'd be working my ass off to try to get it over to the other VR systems.
Yeah, I mean that's the conundrum. So right now the problem is, if you want games that look as good as the PSVR or better, you can play PC VR with PSVR headsets like the Rift S or the Valve Index or the HTC Vive or whatnot, because you're using the power of the computer, but you're tethered. But the problem is, like, if you compare the sales between the same game for the Quest versus the same game for the PC, the Quest sales are like far beyond it. Like, so the problem with developers is like, well, do I want to make a game that looks really good and is powerful and has all this stuff on the PC, or do you want to try and make more money and try and put it on the Quest? But putting it on the Quest, you have much more limitations. It's just not going to look as good. That's just, you're using basically a high-end mobile phone when it comes to that. So yeah, it's one of those things where, like, anytime you see like a VR game that has really good graphics, that means it's on the PC. It's a PC version of the game. But like me, I own a Quest and not a Rift S. But now with Oculus Link, it's almost like having both. So you get the power of both. So I don't know. I'm very big on VR and the future of VR, and I think having these showcases, even I'm not gonna play all of these games. There's just too many. But there's enough potential there where you see like, okay, like you recently just started playing some more VR games, like Pistol Whip. You just
played
that.
Is my like without cussing, Pistol Whip is probably, and now because I got the Quest, I bought Beat Sabers. I've been playing that, but Beat Sabers is my favorite VR game thus far. Like, Josh, have you played it?
We played it together.
No, Pistol Whip.
Oh, no. I haven't played. I was actually gonna ask about that.
Okay, yeah, it's like John Wick. Imagine you're John Wick, but it's in the vein.
I've seen trailers for this.
Yeah, it's in the vein of like if Baby Driver, if Edward Wright was like, it's like John Wick meets Baby Driver, and it's like it's the most funnest game I've ever played in VR. I have spent hours on it. One time I forgot my window was open. My neighbors were just like, "What the fuck is this kid doing?" Like I was going hard for like just an hour because you look crazy. Like you're like shooting guns, but you also have to like move on the beat. It's one of the funnest games I've ever played.
Shooter.
Yeah, like I want to play that after we finish later today. I'm probably gonna go play it. But yeah, I'm excited for the future of VR in general, especially now with everybody being locked in and needing like virtual escape or whatever. Now, like later on today, we're having a virtual meeting, which I'm excited to do. So it's like things like that, like we're being able to do more and more with VR. So hopefully more people will start coming to it now that it's becoming cheaper and like they're doing more sales and stuff like that with the Quest and everything. So hopefully VR starts to change the world.
Yeah.
Looking at this, the VR showcase, the Upload VR showcase, we're not going to be able to talk about every single game. There's a lot of games here. But you definitely, you're at this point in time with VR, I think we're finally starting to see a pattern in trends. We've seen it for a while, but like I'm seeing a lot more social games coming out, like VR chat, like a lot more games pushing, like they're either very much pushing like the whole having fun, virtual space, spend time with your friends kind of game, or they're pushing the whole the rhythm, a lot of rhythm-based games coming out, you know, and then a lot of those, and then it looks like everyone's trying their best to come up with a good FPS game, you know what I mean, or like, and I don't know, I think it's gonna be a while until we see like a truly amazing. I mean, look, the Half-Life Alyx is amazing, but I wouldn't really consider that like a gung ho like FPS game, you know what I mean?
So yeah, VR FPS is different than
because you got to actually aim. You got to actually
you actually have to aim, and it's not about trigger fingers. I mean, you need a lot of good eye-hand coordination, but it's a different type. It's not about floods and floods of enemies. You know, literally like 4 or 5 enemies is a lot in VR because you've got to do a lot of stuff to actually take them down. But yeah, a lot of good VR stuff coming down. The Quest is finally back in stock in a lot of places. I mean, we ordered that one for Dorian. He just got it. You know, it wasn't that hard to do. It's back in stock at Best Buy, back in stock at Amazon. I bought mine like a month ago. I wish I'd waited because I would have gotten some discounts and credits back. I ordered directly from Oculus themselves. Speaking of Oculus, they shut down support for Oculus Go. So Oculus Go is now dead. If people aren't familiar with it, it's like what they originally tried to make Oculus Quest. Like they wanted to make this casual entry level VR system, but the problem is that one, it uses your own cell phone, which most people don't want to do. You know, your cell phone is for your personal use. You don't want to drain the battery because you've been playing VR or whatever. And two, it's, you know, it was only one-handed controller, so it was limited in that way. It was, I think, good in theory, but not so much in execution. But it did eventually lead to the Oculus Quest, which has been a huge success. So they've officially kind of put that down, and they're no longer supporting or developing anything for that anymore. So just a note for that.
One of the things go ahead.
No, you're good. Go for it, Josh. I was just saying that just in general, like last year, I remember us talking about VR and just saying like we didn't know what the scope would look like or like how much we would think it would progress. But now it's like it's crazy to see how far it's come in such a year and how much
getting
it's going
commercial.
It's the Quest, man. It's the Quest.
Yeah,
the Quest finally they solved the puzzle of it, and I believe too, and I've kind of done this with virtual desktop. I'm able to stream some of the PC VR games to my Quest. Now, that doesn't make it portable in the sense of I can't go to somebody's house with it, but I can play Half-Life Alyx wirelessly because I'm streaming from my PC.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so it's I don't know. It's just getting to the point where you're getting a lot more mainstream now, and the Quest has a lot to do with that. And whatever the next Quest version, which they probably had originally planned on announcing it at the end of this year, but it's probably going to be delayed till next year. It's just going to keep going and going.
One of the games to look out for if anybody is playing a lot of VR games and they have played before is Vacation Simulator coming out, which is, I guess, like a sequel to Job Simulator, which is one of my favorite VR games. I enjoy Job Simulator. They're also the same people that made the virtual reality game. So yeah, there's not much to see about that. It's just I'm expecting good things because every single time this game company comes out with a game on VR, it's just good. It's fun, you know.
Hell yeah.
Nice. All right. Last thing, Half-Life Alyx. There's a whole Steam sale going on.
The big Steam
summer sale. Which, by the way, our Twin Peaks VR game is on sale. It's 20% off. Originally $9.99. It's now $7.99. If you want to check it out,
go get that.
Yeah, it's the first time we've done a sale, and I think it's for a week or so. So guys can get on that. But anyways, Half-Life Alyx, which I consider the best VR game of all time, is 20% off or 25% off, and it's $44.99. I bought it for $60, and it was worth $60 to me. Like it's just an amazing game. I can't recommend it highly enough.
Let me borrow it. Is it on the Quest?
No, it's on Steam. But
if you use the link cable, you can use it on the Quest.
Yeah.
Wait, so how are you playing it?
Through Link.
So you
the link cable.
Do I have a link cable?
Well, right now they've made it so you don't need they used to make it so you had to get this really fast cable, but now you can buy just a regular cable and plug it in. I don't think you have it because I think the one you have is a micro USB. You need a USB-C cable, but it's probably like $10-15 in it. But basically, you can play PC VR games on your Oculus Quest, but you gotta plug it in.
I started playing Control though. I broke down. I saw they were having a sale on Game Pass. I was like, all right, let me do it. Let me buy it. So I started it.
Dude, I'm loving it so far. I also just bought Control. I just bought it as well. That's so trippy, man.
It was like $24.99. I was like, all right, Dennis has been hyping this up. Let me give it a chance. So I started that.
It's awesome, man. It's Remedy Games, one of my favorite, and it feels like you're playing a superhero.
It really does.
I actually got it just to check out the ray tracing because I know that the PC version has ray tracing. So I still haven't tried out ray tracing on my computer yet, except for Minecraft, but I want to try an actual game. So I not only it wasn't on sale for me, but recently I switched my Epic Games Store to this. I switched my region to South Africa, and the games are so much cheaper, Dennis. Like, guess how much Control costs full price?
I don't know.
$26. That's full price.
Wow.
That's full price for Control here. Yeah. And like the games are all over the place, man. I don't know how they price these games.
I'm gonna send you some money. You buy the games and then you just Venmo me back the codes.
Bro, you can literally just go to your account settings. Change your. Don't
we
even
talk
change
about
your
this
VPN.
off the podcast. They're gonna catch us, Josh. They're gonna
change
the settings.
I don't want to tell people because it's working great for me.
Yeah.
All right. Before we end this, let's just go around and talk about what we've been playing. Let's start with you, Josh, because people know what me and Dorian have been playing lately.
Yeah, I have been playing a lot of Valorant. They just unleashed, dude. Valor, it's good. It's basically CS:GO. It's like a mix of, you know how like with Apex Legends, you got each character has their like different skills and stuff. Yeah. It's the exact same. It's pretty much the exact same as that, but you're playing Counter-Strike, where it's like one team plants the bomb, the other team has to defuse the bomb, and it's 5v5. Yeah, 5v5 maps. They just released the ranked mode recently, so I'm trying to get into the ranked. I'm actually taking the game very seriously. Like, I want to get into some competitions. I've been really grinding the game, playing hours every single day. Literally, I've been watching videos every day, like doing research, trying to get all the pro strats and everything. So I've been going hard on Valorant. just got Apex Legends on my computer. It's installed. I need to set up a new account just like Dorian did.
All right, hurry up and set up the new account
yeah.
and we'll play.
So
Because I'm gonna stream.
start,
I'm gonna stream soon. We can stream together.
obviously, I'm going to start streaming. I'm moving in 2 weeks from now. I'm moving, so this will be the second last time. The people watching this will be the second last time you'll see this bad quality, which is wonderful. I'm switching to a much faster internet connection in 2 weeks from now. So the quality will go up, and I get to finally go back to streaming, because right now with my quality, I can't stream at all. But yeah, lots of Valorant. Been playing a lot of Fortnite because the new season's out, and I've been playing it with my nephew. It's like a good way for me and my nephew to bond. Still been playing a lot of Minecraft because it's peaceful. And then I'm currently downloading Control right now. So I'm looking forward to playing Control. And then, oh yeah, I played a lot of SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated.
Dog, how was it? I've been seeing reviews. IGN gave it a 5.5. I was disappointed.
In terms of like remasters, it's a remaster. If you enjoyed the original, you'll love this, because it's a perfect remaster built from the ground up, and they even added in a lot of the stuff that was cut from the original PlayStation 2 game.
Okay, so it maybe didn't deserve a 5.5. IGN was hating, just hating on my boy SpongeBob.
Yeah, the voice acting's bad, but they kept the original. Audio from the original video game, so the audio is not that good. The voice, like, I don't know who does the voice for Mr. Krabs and Squidward, but they're different people. They're like the most, like, they tried their best. The poor people. It's a good platformer game. Keep in mind, it is an old game that's been remastered, and it is a very kid orientated game. Like, it's not meant for hardcore gamers at all. If anything, I think a lot of speedrunners will enjoy this, because you can speedrun the game. Like, the original game is one of the most speedrunning, like speedrun. It's one of the games that gets speedrunning games the most. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. There's not much to it. It's just, I like platformers. I like jumping around, collecting things. It's simple.
Makes sense.
Nice. Yeah, well, we should get Josh, once he moves to his better location with better internet. Dorian, we should get Josh stream some Valorant for us if we.
Hell yeah, because we need the battle royale games are taking over. Apex, yeah. I'm getting better at Apex, and then Josh, I'm gonna jump into. People have been telling me to get into Valorant. I've just been like, I'm trying to, like how you're trying to approach Valorant, or like trying to become like an actual pro and gamer at it. That's how I'm kind of approaching Apex, just dedicating like any other time I have into Apex, because like especially my main is Mirage. Like before the season 5 buff, he was already hard to play with, and now with his season 5 buff, he's like an actual asset to the team and can.
He was useless in the first 2 seasons.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like I was playing with him. I was playing with him, taking L's, like just fighting for my life out there. And now he's actually a competitive player. So I'm trying to just like actually make him I'm trying to become the best Mirage I can be, and then take over the gaming industry, and then get it signed with the esports company, and then just skyrocket and become the next Ninja, and then I'll go on to like the next Mixer. Then
what's your nickname gonna be?
I'm just gonna keep it Dorian Parks and Rec. Like it works. It's simple. It gets the job done. I don't know.
If that gets taken, you can change it to Parks
Dorian
and
Parks and Wrecked. Like you get wrecked by these
Parks
guns.
and get wrecked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh god.
All right, Dorian. Besides Apex Legends and Last of Us Part 2, you playing anything else?
Not really on the consoles, mainly just on VR. Just been playing a lot of Pistol Whip and Beat Sabers, and I just recently started because I actually get to play the Vader Immortal, so I've been trying to complete those. So I've just been mainly doing more VR stuff outside of The Last of Us and Apex Legends right now. But I'm excited because now I'm trying to hopefully, like I said, power through The Last of Us by the end of this weekend, and then we have Ghost of Tsushima coming up these next few weeks, so that's going to be taking priority soon.
Yeah. Besides Last of Us Part 2, which hopefully I'll finish soon, let's see here. VR wise, I bought 2 games, virtual reality and Fisherman's Tale, but I haven't started them yet. I'm still trying to finish up this game called Room VR, which it's like escape room puzzle type game.
Oh, nice.
Where you get put in one location, you got to figure out all the puzzles and clues. It's actually a lot of fun, and it is hard. Like there's just certain parts where you just got to figure stuff out. It's only 3 levels, but each level probably takes, I don't know, like an hour or so to figure out. So I'm on the last one. Let's try to think. Yeah, maybe I'll hop on Apex Legends on PC and then hop on with both of you guys.
Also, I've been
Before we end the video, for anybody watching this video, be sure to comment down below. Happy birthday, Dennis. It was Dennis's birthday this week.
Thank you.
He probably doesn't like talking about it, but I'm mentioning it right now, so
He
give
turns
Dennis
30.
some love.
Yeah, I wish I turned 30. It'd be great. But yeah, birthday in a pandemic is very interesting because you just kind of sit at home and that's it because you can't do anything.
I'm excited. Mine's in a couple weeks. I was planning on like treating myself to like try to do a private screening of Tenet or something, but nah, they moved it again.
They moved it again.
Yeah, they keep playing. They just need to move it till next year. Quit getting my hopes up. But another game I've been playing that we might start streaming too is with Mark. It's called A Way Out. I think it's a
great game.
Yeah, I've never played it. And we started playing like you have to play. You can only play it with another person. Like you have to be co-op with somebody to play it.
It's short. I think you guys can do it in a day.
Okay,
me and Jack finished it in like 5 or 6 hours. It's a very short game. Once you've played it, there's not a lot of replayability, but it's fun. I believe only one person has to own the game, and then the other person can download the game for free and play.
Okay, yeah, me and Mark have been playing, or we started playing that, but we'll probably stream like it from the beginning and all the way through. So look out for that.
Like a prison escape game, very good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at it right now. Way Out. It's an EA game. So it's a prison escape game where you both have to.
Yeah, you can only play your co-op with 2 people, and you want one person picks one person, the other picks other person. You have a split screen, but you can see each other interacting in the other screen, like so you like, and then you link up like when you guys do like have scenes where y'all are together. You like
that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It was really cool. Me and Mark played for about 30 minutes, and then so we decided to like we're gonna start from the beginning and stream it.
I know on console. It's one person owns it and the other person can download the demo, which is the full game. And then as long as you have that installed, you can join whoever owns the game, you can join their game and you can play together. So that was the coolest part, is that only one person has to buy it, which is that's a good selling point, you know?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, like from just getting to do it from like how the view angle and y'all are both playing at the same time. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, this sounds very fun. This looks right up my alley. I'm gonna have to look into that. Now I gotta find someone that wants to play with me, because
I mean, if Mark
you have to play too.
Yeah, I mean, Mark keeps playing around, so if he doesn't want to do the stream, then us two can do it, Dennis. Because I've only played the first 25 minutes or so. I don't want to continue until I have somebody.
You guys can borrow my account on PlayStation if you want to play it. If you don't want to buy it.
We on PC. Moving forward, Josh, everything is PC, baby. That's all we're doing. Besides the PS4 exclusive, I'm doing all PC now. I'm converted. Like playing on Apex, how fast this shit is. I'm like, bro, what have I been doing my whole life? I've been playing. I've been a joke. Now I'm for real.
Dude, I hope you can remove the shaders. You can do a bunch of things to make your make that pro gaming so much. Get into that pro gaming, get rid of your shaders. I'm gonna slowly
move over to the keyboard, but for right now, I think it's an easy transition for me to play with the Xbox on PC. Then, because I tried to do a game with the keyboard, and I was just like, what the fuck, like WA, like just trying to point my mouse and shoot. It was a whole mess. So we're almost in within a day. We'll get there.
Cool. All right, guys, I think that's it for this episode of the Collider Games podcast. Thank everyone for watching. Thanks to Josh and Dorian for joining us. Josh, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram at josh.toki, and you guys can find me on Twitch, hopefully in 2 weeks from now, at josh_toki.
And Dorian?
You guys can find me on Twitter, Dorian Parks and Rec, and you can find me on Instagram, Dorian Parks, and you can find us right here on Collider Games. I'll be streaming a lot more daily. I think my schedule right now will be 3 to 5 unless things change, but that's what my schedule is looking like, 3 to 5 for right now. And then Fridays and weekends, that'll be a little bit more flexible, especially when upcoming games come out. Then my schedule will change a lot more. But for now, you can expect daily streams for Apex and a couple other games, 3 to 5, 3 to 6 around that time.
Cool. All right, you guys can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero, Instagram, Dennis.tzng. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/ColliderGames, or subscribe to our podcast feed, or you can do both. The Collider Factory feed, where we have this episode every single week. And then on the YouTube channel, we're going to have all this live streaming stuff. We have the podcast, and we'll have interviews like we just had with Troy Baker. We have another interview coming up soon with Dante
Zuko.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk about, I think I don't know if he was a previous cast member, but I think he may be joining the new season of this Twitch series called Artificial, which I actually know the guy that created it. Did you guys know he's
a local LA DJ?
Doesn't surprise me. He is Filipino.
He DJs.
Bet. We talked to him about that too. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Motherfucking Zuko.
So we're going to talk to him next week and we'll have that up. But until next time, we'll see you guys later.
See you later.